It all began in an evening study hall class. The projector screen suddenly displayed a bizarre set of rules, announcing that the punishment game had begun. The round 1, punish the student with the worst grades in the class. The rules were simple. Hitting him earns you 10 points, drawing blood earns 20 points, breaking a bone earns 30 points, and killing him earns 100 points. However, if you target the wrong person, you will be deducted 100 points. After each punishment round, scores will be tallied. The person with the lowest score will die. I looked skeptically towards the projector remote. It was still sitting on the podium, yet the projector had turned on by itself? Before I could understand what was happening, the screen displayed new rules. The person with the highest score will determine the next punishment target, choosing an invalid punishment target. Death, the person with the lowest score each round. Death, attempting to escape. Death, 10-minute countdown. Begin, looming. Horrifying lines of bold, bright red text filled the stark white projector screen. Next to it, a timer was rapidly ticking down. Suddenly, the hallway lights flickered off, as if the entire building had lost power. At the back of the classroom, a few students began quietly whispering about Owen, occasionally glancing at him with mocking eyes. Bang! A loud noise echoed from the back of the room. I spun around. Owen had flipped a table and punched Derek square in the face. You bastard! You set up this damn game, didn't you? You want to die? Derek was usually at the bottom of the class rankings, but he had been absent during the last test, making Owen the lowest scorer. Since then, Derek had constantly ridiculed Owen. Thus, Owen suspected Derek had created this sick rule to target him. Caught by surprise, Derek erupted in fury, swinging his elbow hard into Owen's chest. The two lunged at each other, fighting wildly at the back of the room. The other students just stood by, watching curiously. Stop hitting! Please, stop it! Alex, the class president, quickly ran over to intervene. He struggled to pull Derek away, but right then, a piercing alert sounded in the classroom. Ding ding ding! Time's up, round 1, complete. Calculating scores. Number 27, 10 points. Number 30, minus 100 points. All others, 0 points. Number 27 was Derek and number 30 was Owen. Owen's chest suddenly expanded unnaturally. Immediately after, a horrible thud sounded. His body collapsed, fresh blood staining a large area of the floor and splattering onto Derek and the class president. My mind went blank. The strong, metallic smell of blood hit me. This scene was like a horror movie special effect, but it was happening right before my eyes, vividly and horrifyingly real. Ah, he's dead. He's really dead. Horrified screams erupted throughout the classroom. Everyone immediately jumped up, pushing and shoving towards the main door and the windows. I too stood up, shaking, and rushed towards the door. The classroom door was unlocked. The students closest to the front quickly darted out. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Dull explosions echoed in the hallway. The fleeing students collapsed one by one, their fresh blood splattering onto the white walls, creating terrifying crimson streaks, attempting to escape. Death. Upon seeing that hellish scene, my legs turned to jelly and I nearly tumbled out the door. In that moment, a hand grabbed me tightly, pulling me back inside. I fell to the ground, cold sweat breaking out. The person who pulled me back was the class president, Alex. He too sat on the floor, his face pale and drained of blood. He was still smeared with Owen's blood. I quickly wiped the sweat from my forehead and whispered, "Alex, thank you." He asked, trembling, "What the hell is this?" "This can't be man-made. Our entire class has been sucked into a cruel, deadly game." The alarm sounded again. Everyone looked up at the projector in panic. Survivors, 19 highest scorer, number 27. Determine the next punishment target. 10-minute countdown. Begin. The hallway was silent, so quiet you could hear the blood dripping. The surviving students were stunned. Some hugged their heads and screamed, others bent over and vomited. I shakily pulled out my phone, intending to call the police. No signal. The class president, Alex, stepped onto the podium, picking up the projector remote, seemingly intending to turn it off. "Don't touch the projector. Are you trying to kill the whole class?" Derek screamed. He staggered to his feet, his face covered in blood, gripping a desk for balance. "If you turn it off, we won't see the countdown and won't know when we die." Alex flipped the remote over, opened the battery compartment cover, and showed everyone. There were no batteries inside. According to school regulations, the projector could only be turned on during class hours. Now that the power was out, whether it was on or off was not something we could control. Everyone was stunned. The countdown was still rapidly ticking down, with only 1 minute remaining. Derek scanned the room. Alex tensely shouted, "Hey, don't do anything reckless." Derek sneered, "Shut up. If we don't pick someone, all of us will die later." His eyes finally landed on a corner of the classroom. "Then let's punish the ugliest girl in the class. Round 2. Punish the ugliest female student in the class. 10-minute countdown. Begin." Willow screamed, quickly diving under a desk, sobbing and begging, "No, please don't." Derek cracked his knuckles and slowly advanced toward her. Several other students followed, as no one wanted their score to drop to the lowest level. "What should we do? Is there any way to stop this game?" Willow was so thin that her thighs were not much bigger than Derek's arms. These 12th grade boys were in the middle of their physical development. They didn't even realize how great their strength was. I saw Derek swing his leg and kick Willow directly in the chest. She cried out in pain, curling up, hugging her head to the floor. Seeing Derek make a move, the others followed suit. Compared to this terrifying death game, beating a weak girl was too easy. They just needed to hit her to get points. The higher the score, the safer they were. Alex shouted loudly, trying to stop them, but he didn't dare rush in to intervene. If he accidentally hit someone else during the struggle, he would be instantly deducted 100 points for targeting the wrong person. I didn't dare delay any longer. I quickly grabbed a desk near the window and threw it with all my might at the glass. Once, twice, dozens of times, but not even a crack appeared on the glass. I breathed heavily, setting the desk down. Our desks and chairs were all wooden with rounded edges. They couldn't break the glass. Only the teacher's podium was solid metal, heavy and sharp-edged. I couldn't lift it alone. I needed someone to help. "Stop hitting! You're going to kill her!" A female student burst into tears, screaming in despair. Willow coughed up blood, desperately clinging to Derek's leg, weakly pleading, "Please, stop it!" They seemed to have gone mad. Clearly, each hit only added 10 points. Yet no one stopped, continuing to kick and punch, as if afraid of missing an opportunity to score. Derek was the strongest attacker. He aimed straight for Willow's ribs. She vomited blood, definitely suffering internal bleeding, perhaps even broken ribs. If this continued, she would die. "Derek, stop right now!" Alex clenched his teeth, eyes red, trying to pin Derek down. "When there's no teacher here, I manage the class. I order you to stop immediately." Derek ignored him, instead becoming more excited as he vented his anger. His score was already leading. By continuing to accumulate points, he could freely choose the next punishment target. 2 female students rushed into the crowd. Although Willow wasn't beautiful, she was kind and often helped her friends, so she still had close friends. Number 7 and number 16 were her friends. They ducked into the middle of the crowd, shielding Willow. Immediately, no one dared to strike again because they were wrong targets. Derek refused to give up, calling over a few male students to pull the 2 girls away. Willow was already suffocating and couldn't endure any more torment. Number 7 and number 16 panicked and suddenly bent down, biting hard into the legs of those pulling them away. Ding ding ding! Time's up! Round 2 complete. Calculating scores. It finally ended. The 2 girls let go, anxiously checking Willow's wounds. "Damn it, you bit too hard, I'm bleeding." That statement instantly drained the color from the 2 girls' faces. Number 27, 40 points. Number 2, 10 points. Number 13, 10 points. Number 21, 10 points. Number 7, minus 100 points. Number 16, minus 100 points. All others, 0 points. Number 7 and number 16 were still kneeling on the ground. In an instant, their bodies grotesquely distorted and collapsed, their fresh blood spreading into 2 large pools. Everything happened too quickly. The entire class was stunned, unable to react. Survivors, 17. Highest scorer. Number 27. Determine the next punishment target. 10-minute countdown. Begin. Willow gasped. Despite the brutal beating just moments ago, she had endured it. But now, she burst into heart-wrenching sobs. What? No, this is bad. Her ribs were broken, and her chest could not shake too violently. I rushed over to support her. Don't cry. Breathe slowly. Press your elbows against the floor to reduce the pressure on your chest. Willow had fallen into a panic. She sobbed so hard she gasped for breath, her body suddenly cramping up like a boiled shrimp. Then she coughed up a large mouthful of blood. I wanted to help but couldn't do anything. Her broken ribs might have pierced her lungs. Willow clutched her chest, struggling to breathe, her face quickly turning purple. I felt my heart tighten. I had tried to break the window to call for help. Yet in just a few moments, everything had become this terrible. Help me! Someone help her! I yelled for help, but the others just stood there, their eyes blank and emotionless. Finally, Willow collapsed, stopping breathing. At that moment, I heard a cold snort. Die quickly then. What a waste of 100 points that should have belonged to me. It's Derek. I looked at him in horror. He was addicted to murder. In his eyes, human life was nothing more than numbers on a scoreboard. He glared at me, suddenly raising his fist in a threat. What are you looking at? You want to die? He scanned the bodies on the floor, sneering, "You zeros. You're lucky. If those two idiotic girls hadn't shielded her, you'd be dead now. Girls are so weak. A few hits and she's gone. She was ugly anyway. Living was probably worse than dying." I turned my face away, swallowing my anger. Now, everyone was focused on survival. No one had the mind to care about others. Derek had 40 points, far ahead of everyone else. No one dared to confront him. I took off my jacket and covered Willow's body. The classroom was littered with fragmented bodies, but she was intact, looking as if she were just sleeping soundly. After round 2, besides Derek, 10 others had also earned 10 points. The class was split into 2 factions. 11 people chose to beat up their classmates to accumulate scores and ensure their survival. The other 6, including me and Alex, still had 0 points. The previous round saw 2 people die with minus 100 points. This meant that if multiple people had the lowest score, they would all be killed. If I didn't do something now, Alex and I would definitely die in the next round. Derek was the most relaxed. He stretched his arms and legs, stepping over the 0-point students, slowly choosing his next prey. With only 8 minutes left on the countdown, he quickly made up his mind. The next target is the poorest kid in class. Round 3. Punish the poorest student in the class. 10-minute countdown. Begin. Upon hearing this, everyone immediately turned to look at Leo. He clutched his pen tightly, veins bulging in his neck, and growled through clenched teeth. "Don't come near me. I'll fight you to the death." After Willow was beaten to death, the atmosphere in the class had changed. Those who had acted now had points, temporarily avoiding the scythe of death. They eagerly followed Derek. They were even more terrifying than the game itself. Those who still had 0 points trembled nervously. Before this, conflicts were just minor fights. No one imagined they would have to beat someone to death right before their eyes. Leo tried to look fierce, but his legs wouldn't stop shaking, terrified he would be the next victim. Derek scoffed. "Who are you trying to scare? I'll smash your skull open with 1 hit." He yelled maniacally, raising an entire desk over his head, looking no different from a lunatic. I huddled in a corner of the podium, my palms slick with cold sweat. I still had 0 points, the lowest. 10 minutes left. Boom. Imagining myself exploding into a bloody mess, my entire body went numb. What should I do now? How does this damned game end? No, I need points. I have to survive this round to have a chance to stop the game. Should I join them then? I only needed to score 10 points. After all, Leo wouldn't die just from 1 more punch. I'd just be protecting myself. Who could blame me? Just as I was about to step forward, another 0-point student quietly stood up, bowing their head and joining Derek's group. I suddenly realized the other students were also hesitating, watching the situation. Even Alex was clenching his fists, ready to leap in. Wait a minute! If everyone thinks that way, 10 points could become the lowest score. I need to get 20, 30 points, as many as possible. Suddenly, a piece of fabric slid to the floor. I looked down. It was the jacket I had draped over Willow. She was facing me, her face pale, her eyes wide open and lifeless, as if reminding me, if I do that, am I any different from these murderers? A cold current ran down my spine. Calm down, calm down. I cannot be manipulated by the game's rules. The countdown showed 9 minutes remaining. Leo gritted his teeth, trying to hold firm, but he wouldn't be able to resist for long. Once the attack began, there would be no turning back. I frantically looked around, hoping to find something useful. My eyes scanned the room, settling on the bulletin board behind me. I haven't, I'll die, Derek roared, raising the desk above his head, ready to smash it onto Leo. Don't touch him or you'll be the one who dies, I yelled, slamming a piece of paper onto the podium. My sudden outburst seemed to make them hesitate. Derek's group temporarily froze. He frowned, glaring at me. What the hell are you holding? I spoke coldly. You don't recognize it? Huh, your eyesight seems poor. Let me show you closer. I held the paper up, right in front of Derek's face. Is it clear now? He lowered his head and read aloud, public list of students receiving hardship assistance. Huh? What's this for? I smirked. There's only one hardship assistance slot per class. Open your eyes and see who's on that list. Derek suddenly sobered up and immediately scrutinized the list. In our class, only one person received this assistance. It wasn't Leo, but student number 13, Ethan. Everyone understood the poorest person usually received the assistance, but some might know how to manipulate the paperwork. To receive the aid, a student must detail their family's circumstances, get a guarantor's signature, and submit it for school review. But in reality, as long as there's a guarantor, the family's true information doesn't matter. The aid money isn't substantial. If Leo had it, he wouldn't be eating dry buns and pickles every day. Derek's group suddenly fell silent, all turning to look at Ethan. Ethan's face instantly went pale, his lips trembling. You're talking nonsense. I'm not poor. No way. The list only has your name. If you're not poor, why are you receiving assistance? You're the only one in class receiving money, meaning you are the poorest. The game rules chose you as the target. I smiled, feeling my deduction was perfect. Ethan shook his head frantically like a rattle. Don't talk nonsense. Forget the aid. My family is rich. I have money. He pointed at two nearby classmates, his voice trembling. You and you. Didn't I treat you guys to meals often? Tell them my family is rich. The two simply lowered their heads in silence. I shrugged. You're lying. The list only has your name, so you're definitely the poorest. Ethan was so angry he nearly coughed up blood, but fearing a point deduction, he didn't dare physically attack me. I knew I still needed a decisive blow. The truth is obvious between you and Leo, who is poorer. I only trust what's written in black and white. Remember, Owen only had the second worst score once, yet the game chose him as the first target. This proves the game relies solely on official announcements to determine targets. A few people started wavering. Honestly, I also didn't think Leo was the poorest. I just needed someone to waver. If they were deducted points, I would survive. The whole class was so quiet you could hear every breath. I looked at them. Alex was staring blankly, like his CPU was about to burn out. When playing cards, you can't just play one move. The strongest card must always be saved for last. I knew that even if I survived this round, I would become a thorn in Derek's side. He was the biggest threat to the entire class. He was focused on Leo. Shifting his target wouldn't be easy. Alex was my trump card. I suddenly pointed at the class president. Then let's ask the class president. He has the highest authority in class when there's no teacher. Alex, you tell us. Alex started as if waking from a dream, immediately blurting out, "The card master is right." I choked. Oh my God, why bring up that nickname now? I had only gained the nickname Card Master because I accidentally won a school-level card game tournament. I said angrily, "Alex, stop using my nickname." Now the whole class knows I'm a 3-time champion and have a whole online forum named after me. But no one cared. They were focused on who would be punished. Alex continued to deliver the final blow. I was the one who submitted the poor student aid applications to the school. I don't know about the others, but I know for a fact that Ethan's circumstances are truly pitiful. He wears fake luxury goods because he's too self-conscious. Everyone should try to be sympathetic to him. Ethan froze, glaring at Alex with deep hatred. I was surprised. I didn't expect someone seemingly upright like the class president to know how to stab someone in the back too. Ethan tried to open his mouth to refute, but I wasted no time, pointing at the screen. Only 1 minute left. Decide now or it will be too late. The staged drama worked. 5 people were convinced and turned to punish Ethan. Meanwhile, Derek still focused on Leo. Leo tried to escape between the desks, dodging the attacks. He was thin but agile and managed to hold out for 7 or 8 minutes. But finally, Derek caught him. Ah! Derek stomped hard on Leo's elbow. A crisp crack sounded, the sound of breaking bone making the whole class shudder. Only Derek maintained his insane expression, even trying to break Leo's other arm. He seemed to regret the 100 points from Willow's death and was trying to compensate. Why? He was already the highest scorer. Was the allure of points that great? Or had the violence awakened the malicious nature within him, and with the rules covering him, he didn't need to fear the consequences? Insane. They're all insane. I worried Leo would suffer Willow's fate and moved to rush forward. Ding ding ding. Time's up. Round 3 complete. Calculating scores. Thank goodness time ran out. Derek let go. The students attacking Ethan were not as brutal as Derek, so Ethan only suffered minor external injuries. Ultimately, 5 people punished Ethan and 5 punished Leo. The group punishing Leo included 1 new 0-point student. The balance had shifted. Now, the 0-point students were the most relieved. Conversely, those who had acted were extremely anxious because their chances of survival were now only 50/50ths. I thought coldly, they could have chosen not to participate, but they let their herd instinct lead them. It seems once you follow the crowd, your brain goes along too. Number 27, 50 points. Number 5, 20 points. Number 12, 20 points. Number 23, 20 points. Number 13, 10 points. Number 19, 10 points. Number 10, minus 90 points. Number 15, minus 90 points. Number 11, minus 90 points. Number 25, minus 90 points. Number 6, minus 90 points. All others, 0 points. Boom! 5 bodies collapsed simultaneously. The 5 remaining people fell to the ground, sweating profusely. Even Derek gasped, slumping against the floor. Survivors, 11. Highest scorer, number 27. Determine the next punishment target. 10-minute countdown. Begin. This time, Derek didn't dare delay. He quickly scrambled up and ran to the bulletin board. I knew round 4 was the most crucial moment. I silently signaled Alex with my eyes. He understood and quickly followed me to a corner of the room to whisper. I probed his thoughts. Alex, the next round, the greatest danger is still for those with 0 points. What's your plan? What plan? We obviously have to stop this game, Alex ground out. We're just killing each other now, but reasoning with anyone is useless. All they see are scores. Only the highest scorer can give orders. He glanced covertly at Derek. I replied, not quite. The score isn't a talisman, it's a sword hanging over their heads. Alex frowned. What do you mean? Focus on the 3 death rules. Alex looked up at the screen. Choosing an invalid punishment target. Death. The person with the lowest score each round. Death. Attempting to escape. Death. I don't know what constitutes a valid punishment target, but the first rule is clearly aimed at the highest scorer. The highest scorer and the lowest scorer both can die instantly. In reality, the score is the game's biggest bait. Alex, do you see it? From the beginning, the game led everyone to believe that only by punishing others to gain points can they survive. But the game never actually forced us to punish anyone. It only said the person with the lowest score will die. In other words, we don't need to become murderers. We can misdirect the murderer. Alex was stunned, his hands trembling. You're right. If you choose the wrong target, you're deducted a massive 100 points, much more dangerous than doing nothing. Oh my God. And I almost... A look of regret flashed in his eyes, and he quickly turned away to hide it. I pretended not to see. I hit the window earlier. Do you need help? Yes, but we have to solve the immediate problem first. By this time, Derek had finished scanning the bulletin board, his face contemplative. Only 5 minutes remained. Time was running out. We had to be quick. I used a trick the last 3 rounds. This time, Derek will be more cautious. I'm not sure, but the knife is at our throats. There's no turning back. Derek seemed to have decided and began to slowly walk toward the center of the classroom. Each step of his was like pushing the blade deeper. I maintained my composure. Alex trusting me is better than waiting to die. Then put on a few extra layers of clothes now. Alex looked confused. Huh? I'm not cold. It doesn't matter. Just put them on and do exactly as I tell you later. Only 3 minutes remained. Just as Derek was about to speak, Alex proactively stepped out and cut him off. Everyone calm down. His voice echoed through the classroom, sounding exactly like the announcement during normal evening study halls. But this time, it was surrounded by mangled corpses, with Willow's body at his feet. Don't panic! Let's find a way to stop this game so we can all live. No one said there could only be one winner. There must be a way. He spoke with conviction, causing the 2 0-point female students next to him to burst into fresh tears. They wished this was just a normal study hall. Derek roared with laughter. Ha ha ha! What the hell are you talking about? Playing the savior now? I think you're just stalling before you die. Alex looked straight at Derek. I've been saying it all along, but no one listens. I'm the class president when the teacher is absent. I have the highest authority in this class. Every action you take must go through me, Derek scoffed. Alex ignored him and continued, Derek, think carefully. The rules don't say when the game ends. Even if you're always number 1, even if everyone slowly dies off until you're the only one left, are you going to punish yourself? Derek picked at his ear, feigning disinterest. Then let's see. Do you have a better idea? Alex seriously replied. The card master suggests we call for help, but the windows are locked. So, we can all lift the teacher's podium together, smash the glass, and wait for rescue. Bullshit. Derek kicked a desk away, thrusting his finger close to Alex's eye. Didn't you see the bodies in the hallway? If you want to break the window and run, go ahead, but don't expect anyone to clean up your corpse. Alex looked scared but stood firm. Derek, what gives you the right to yell at me? You're just a lucky idiot who picked up some points. Don't act like you're special. In this class, I have the most authority. What does a moron like you know? Everyone must follow me. Derek's face flushed crimson, so angry he looked like he was about to explode. Alex, quick as lightning, twisted his arm, causing him to fall backward onto the floor. Derek scrambled up, his eyes wide. Fine, you're good, I'll show you. Round 4. Punish the student with the highest authority in the class. 10-minute countdown. Begin. He took the bait, I thought inwardly. Alex was wearing thick layers of clothing. As soon as he was named the target, he immediately crouched down, covering his head, mimicking Leo by running between the desks. When I presented the plan, I wasn't sure Derek would fall for it, but Alex's acting was too good. He perfectly controlled Derek's psychology, or maybe he genuinely felt some lingering resentment. I also joined in, deliberately blocking the way to protect Alex. While the rules seemed to protect the Punisher, they also protected the target. For instance, I could momentarily intercept Derek and land a quick hit without getting hit myself, as he feared accidentally injuring me and being deducted points. As soon as Derek announced the target, 3 people immediately rushed to hit Alex purely out of instinct. But 2 people remained sober. Ethan, number 13, and number 19, the student who joined in the last round. Ethan was almost beaten to death in round 3 and just wanted to rest. Number 19 silently observed. When our eyes met, he quickly looked away. I guessed he had the same thought I had in the previous round. Just get 10 points to survive. Ding ding ding, time's up, round 4 complete. Calculating scores. This round seemed to end faster. Alex collapsed onto the podium, exhausted. Derek, too, leaned against the wall, panting, and laughed, sweeping a contemptuous gaze across the 0-point students. He clapped mockingly. Bye-bye, you pathetic losers, I'm the winner. A hypocrite and a deadbeat gambler. Go die. Before you die, keep your eyes open and see who the last one standing is. He sneered with ridicule. Immediately after, boom, 3 people next to him suddenly collapsed, blood splattering all over him. He froze, turning his head stiffly. There was no one next to him. Blood flowed down the projector screen, staining the scoreboard. Number 13, 10 points. Number 19, 10 points. Number 5, minus 80 points. Number 12, minus 80 points. Number 23, minus 80 points. Number 27, minus 50 points. All others, 0 points. It took Derek a full minute to understand what was happening. Then he screamed hysterically, "No, no way. The calculation is wrong. I should have 60 points. Why am I deducted 50? The person with the highest authority is the class president. He said so. Why am I deducted points? Give me back my points." He had no one left to vent his anger on and screamed in despair. I found his screaming too loud. What's wrong? Can't handle the game anymore? You're scared just from a small point deduction? If the class president really had that much power, he would have kicked you out long ago. Power is an abstract concept. It's not like scores, rank, or wealth that you can see with your eyes. In a normal class, the class president might have some authority to maintain order. But in this game, who really has the greatest power? Who has the power to decide who gets punished? Who is the one who can beat others and no one dares to fight back? It is the person with the highest score, Derek. People often overlook the things that belong to them. How true. The moment Alex declared, "I have the authority to manage the class," I thought of this plan. Alex and I constantly emphasized the phrase highest authority, slowly leading Derek into the trap. He was accustomed to being the dominator. When I insulted him and pushed him down, his hateful brain immediately focused on Alex, and he walked right into the trap we had set. I helped Alex up, and he gave me a thumbs up, worthy of the card master's strategy. What a dark soul. I didn't know if he was praising or insulting me. "Watch out!" Alex suddenly pulled me down. Crash! A desk flew past my head. "Ah, I'll kill you!" Derek went insane, lifting the metal podium desk and smashing it towards us. His rage had peaked. He thought the game wasn't over, and he thought no one dared to touch him. Alex and I lifted the desk and slammed it right into him. Leo, despite his broken arm, gritted his teeth and stuck out his leg, tripping Derek. We beat him easily. He wasn't strong. He only knew how to bully the weak. After just a few hits, he frantically begged for mercy. "Ah, stop hitting, I won't do it again." We hit him hard enough. The game continues. Survivors, 8 highest scorers, number 13 and number 19, determine the next punishment target. 10-minute countdown, begin. Ethan slowly looked up. His eyes were dark, filled with the venomous hatred of a snake stalking its prey. I immediately tensed up. The situation had gone beyond my plan. Damn it, I shouldn't have caused such a mess. Before Ethan could speak, Alex quickly interjected, "Wait, I have an idea." He looked excited, pointing at the scoreboard. The highest score is only 10 points. There isn't a huge gap. So, what if the punishment target willingly takes a small beating, allowing every 0-point student to hit them once? We can all balance the scores. The entire class was stunned. He's right. From the beginning, we always thought from the victim's perspective, terrified of dropping points and dying. But what if we went the other way? If everyone had the same score, no one would be selected as the punisher anymore. The rules didn't state when the game would end. But if no one had the power to decide the next target, the game couldn't continue. A 0-point female student objected. What if the game counts all of us as the lowest score and kills everyone? Alex thought for a moment and said, as of now, the game has been relatively fair. I believe this is the highest probability way to end it. Before, Derek's score was too high for anyone to catch up, but now the opportunity is here. If the whole class agrees on one target, and every 0-point student gets 10 points, we can all survive. He was truly optimistic, but I knew the plan was too naive. And just as I thought, Ethan scoffed, his voice full of sarcasm. "But I'm leading the score. Why should I help you people?" Alex was stunned. He always believed that everyone surviving was the best outcome, and couldn't understand why anyone would think otherwise. "I know Ethan is still holding a grudge about what happened earlier," I said proactively. "It's simple. This method benefits you too. If we balance the scores this round, the game might end due to a lack of a decision maker. If you disagree, the 0-point students will all die next round, leaving just you and number 19. At that point, you'll still face the same problem. Wouldn't that be wasting a perfect opportunity to test this theory? Even if Ethan didn't want to save anyone, using us as test subjects was a good option. He had nothing to lose. I thought this would be enough to persuade him, but it turned out he was more vindictive than I expected. He narrowed his eyes at me. "You call that begging?" Before I could answer, thud, Alex dropped to his knees in front of him without a second of hesitation. "Please, I beg you, what happened earlier was my fault. Please, be generous and save us. If we can just get out of here alive, I'll give you anything you want." His voice was hoarse, his eyes red with agitation. Alex's action moved the entire class. He's right. As long as we're alive, who cares about pride? Ethan was unfazed. He curled his lip and pointed at me. "Cardmaster, you caused me to be beaten last round. Now it's your turn for me to beat you to vent my anger." I held my breath. Sure enough, he didn't intend to let me off the hook. But as long as he agreed to cooperate, a few hits were no problem. I said nothing, just quietly bowed my head and hugged my knees. Ethan delivered a kick so hard my entire body shook. The classroom fell into a deathly silence, only the thump, thump, thump echoing. Every kick felt like my lungs were being compressed, but I gritted my teeth and endured. Alex couldn't stand it any longer. "Stop it!" Ethan smirked, stopping his attack. That felt good. "All right, I'll cooperate with you this one time." He stood up and rummaged through his desk drawer. When he pulled his hand out, I saw a cold glint flash before he tucked something into his pocket. A sense of unease flooded over me. What is he planning? Ethan agreed to Alex's plan and discussed the next target with everyone. Leo raised his hand. "Choose me. I've already been a target. It'll definitely be safe." If they chose the wrong target, the consequence was death. Among the remaining students, Leo was indeed the safest choice, but something still felt wrong to me. I immediately turned to find Derek. He was quietly observing us, eerily calm. A shiver ran down my spine and my eyelid twitched repeatedly. "Wait, you can't choose him," I cut in abruptly. Ethan was faster. "It's decided, then." At the same time, he reached into his pocket. Alex saw what was in Ethan's hand, and his face instantly changed. The punishment target, Cardmaster. Ethan yelled my name, pulling out a folded knife and aiming straight for my throat. The blade was long enough to pierce my windpipe. Everything he had done until now appearing cooperative, turning his back, was just to wait for this moment. If he killed me, he would instantly get 100 points. Alex tried to intervene, but it was too late. The knife touched my skin, a sharp pain spreading from my throat. Sure enough, balancing the score was just a pipe dream. Those with an advantage will never give it up. My eyes blurred, not knowing if it was from blood or panic. Clang. The folded knife fell to the ground. Where is Ethan? He was gone. A new line of text appeared on the screen. Number 13 chose an invalid punishment target. Death. My entire body was drained and I collapsed to the ground. I had survived, but why? He clearly said my name correctly, yet it was still deemed an invalid target. Wait, I remembered. Round 1 was the example. After that, Derek always chose targets based on that pattern. Worst student, ugliest girl, poorest student, highest authority. These descriptions designated a person, but were not their names. This was the dual trap for the one giving the order, but also the only chance for the target to turn the tables. I never imagined that with just a few simple rules, the game would be as convoluted as a hangman's knot, combining both murderous intent and a path to survival. A cold bucket of water was poured over me, making me tremble. Cardmaster, are you okay? Snap out of it! Someone was wiping the blood from my face. I slowly regained my strength. Ethan was dead. The decision power was transferred to number 19. He raised both hands, quickly stuttering. I will cooperate. I trust the class president. Number 19 had always been a quiet, easily persuaded student. He immediately said, "Then I will choose." "Wait, you can't choose, Leo." I cut him off instantly. My gaze darted over to Derek. Number 19 immediately understood my intention. Derek currently had minus 50 points. If he knew the next punishment target, he might risk killing that person, as he had nothing left to lose. Number 19 blinked, thought for a moment, and then spoke. "Then I will choose someone only I know well. When the countdown reaches 10 seconds, I'll point that person out, and everyone can hit them to get points." He seemed much more sincere than Ethan, but after everything that had happened, who could trust anyone anymore? Alex hesitated. "Are you sure you're not fooling us?" Number 19 nodded firmly. "I guarantee it. I truly believe your analysis is correct and worth trying." My eyelid twitched intensely. A feeling of strong unease rose in my heart. The situation was different now that Ethan was dead. If the 0-point students all died, leaving only number 19, he would become the sole winner. He had no reason to test our method, but we had no other choice. Everyone was too exhausted. Fear and despair had drained the life out of everyone. There was only one thought in their heads: end this. I choose the student best at braiding hair in the class. Round 5. Punish the student best at braiding hair. 10-minute countdown. Begin. Best at braiding hair. I frowned, looking at the two 0-point female students. Both had short hair. It was impossible to tell who had that skill. I wasn't close to the girls, so I didn't know the target. Derek didn't know either. He sweated anxiously. The success rate was 50/50ths. He didn't dare take the risk. "There's still time. Let's try breaking the window," I suggested. No one objected. I, Alex, and number 19 lifted the metal podium. After adjusting the angle a few times, we used the sharp corner of the podium to smash straight into the window glass. Crack. Immediately, a crack appeared on the glass. The two 0-point female students cheered loudly. "Go! 1, 2, 1, 2. Careful not to fall out. 1, 2, 1, 2. Their chanting reminded me of the class tug-of-war competition. A cool autumn afternoon, a clear blue sky. 30 students united, pulling a single rope. The whistle blew, and everyone leaned back together. But those days would never return. My throat tightened, but my hands didn't dare stop. Bam! A strong impact, and the glass shattered. But as soon as we looked out the window, all light vanished. The building across the street, which had been brightly lit, suddenly collapsed into small pieces along with the glass. I realized it was just an illusion on the window pane. There was nothing outside, only a thick, black fog covering everything, with no sign of the human world. I slumped onto the floor, utterly disheartened. "Card Master, you have so many tricks. Please think of a way to save me." He knelt before me, begging. "I'm about to die. We're classmates. Can you really bear to watch me die horribly? Didn't you say everyone could survive together? You can't just stand there and do nothing." I pointed toward the podium. "You should save those words for Willow when you meet her." His cheeks trembled, his hair stood on end, his face contorted with fear. Suddenly, he pointed out the window, screaming in terror. "Oh my God, what the hell is out there?" The others started, rushing towards the window. "What? Where?" I ran over instinctively, afraid of missing any glimmer of hope. But just then, I heard the sound of wind rushing behind me. Instinctively, I immediately squatted down. Crash! A dark shadow lunged forward, shoving all of us toward the window. Damn it, if I have to die, none of you are getting out alive. Derek had gone mad. I quickly extended my arms and grabbed the legs of 4 people, desperately trying to hold them back. But one person was out of my reach. He was shoved straight out the window by Derek. Ah! Help me! I lunged, managing to catch the ankle of number 19. He hung suspended outside the window, screaming hysterically. His entire weight pressed heavily on my arm, forcing me tight against the window frame. Shards of broken glass dug deep into my skin. I believed that crossing the window meant immediate death. I also believed that with my strength, I couldn't pull him up. Oof, help, someone. I tried to shout, but my chest was constricted, unable to make a sound. No one came to help. My arm quickly went numb, losing all sensation. I watched helplessly as number 19 fell, his screams fading away tragically. His scream still echoed in my ears. My body was cold with pain and panic. Beside my ear, a piercing alarm suddenly sounded. Ding, ding, ding. Time's up. Round 5 complete. Calculating scores. Number 18, 100 points. Number 27, minus 50 points. All others, 0 points. Number 18 was me. What? He killed number 19? Why do the points go to him? Derek roared in fury. Boom. He exploded into a bloody mess, vanishing into the air. The room fell into absolute silence. A flurry of thoughts flashed through my mind. So, number 19 was the student best at braiding hair in the class. I had tried to save him, but in the end, I had indirectly killed him. If number 19 hadn't been the punishment target, I would be dead now. I looked up. Everyone around me looked at me with suspicion, fear, and despair. Survivors. 5. Highest scorer. Number 18. Choose the next punishment target. 10-minute countdown. Begin. I no longer felt the pain, even though my arm was bleeding profusely. Alex patted my shoulder but said nothing. I understood. He wanted me to choose an invalid target to be deducted 100 points and balance the score. But was it necessary? Even if I did nothing, I was safe. Balancing the score only increased my own risk. Why should I risk myself to save them? The 100 points had created an invisible boundary between me and them. They had faced death countless times just to avoid being killed. And I could be the reason they died. I hadn't decided yet when Alex acted first. He took off his jacket, twisted it into a rope, and handed it to me. Tie me up. I won't interfere with your decision. He calmly told the others, you do the same. The card master has the highest score. Let him decide everything. I felt a sharp pain in my temple, such a skillful, moralistic maneuver to bind me. The others weren't as calm as Alex. After Derek's death, the 0-point students had 1 foot in hell. Leo trembled, but how can we be sure? I don't trust promises. I only trust instinct. Alex spoke loudly. When number 19 fell, I was the closest person, but I didn't save him because I wasn't the highest scorer, and saving him didn't benefit me. What about you? You thought the same, didn't you? I took a deep breath. I knew that too, but in that moment, I only thought about saving him. Alex continued, honestly, I don't think the card master is a good person. He's full of schemes and dirty tricks, always acting superior. He doesn't have a single friend in this class. Seriously? An open roast session now? I knew he was doing this deliberately, whether intentionally or not. Alex pressed on. I thought saving people was simple, but through this game I realized selfishness is human instinct. When Willow died, I didn't save her. When Leo was punished, I almost attacked him myself. I am a normal person and so are you, but the card master is not like us. His first instinct is always to save people. So if we have to bet our lives, he is the most trustworthy person. Alex tied himself up, voluntarily walking to the back of the room. The countdown was almost over. The remaining people also gave up resisting, tying themselves up. Finally, only I remained. I was the only person who could decide. With the countdown about to end, I had to choose a punishment target. I choose the student best at card games in the class. Round 6. Punish the student best at card games. Begin. Even in this moment, I still had a way out. I looked at the others. No one was forcing my choice. There were no accusatory looks, no urgency, just calm faces as if they were ready to accept any outcome. I had been helpless watching Willow and number 19 die. But now, I held the lives of 4 people in my hands. For the first time in my life, I understood that trust was also a suffocating pressure. I had become the leader, just like Derek and Ethan before me. But instead of feeling excited, I only felt fear. Fear that I would choose wrong. Fear that I would regret it. I slowly walked up to Alex, and with all my strength, I punched him once. Time's up! Round 6 complete. Calculating scores. All 0 points. No one has the highest score. No one has the lowest score. The punishment game has ended. Alex opened his eyes, letting out a sigh of relief, and smiled. You need more practice. That punch felt like a scratch. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from outside, drowning out Alex's voice. Talking, footsteps, and chaotic light flooded the classroom through the doorway. We looked up. A huge crowd was surrounding the classroom. The scene inside had completely changed. No blood, no corpses. The classroom was back to normal, just like when the study hall began. The game ended. Everything returned to how it was, but those who died never reappeared. The door burst open. Teachers, family members, and relatives rushed into the room. Our parents hugged us, sobbing uncontrollably. Before leaving, Alex looked dazed and asked me, "The score balance ended the game. Does that mean the entire class could have survived from the beginning?" "I think so," I replied. The game chose two people with conflict to start, established a scoring hierarchy, and led us to a dead end. From the very first moment someone had a higher score, that gap became insurmountable. Just one wrong move, and it all became a terrifying abyss. The greatest irony was that the rules never encouraged punishing anyone. The one who drove the savagery was always ourselves. A gentle breeze drifted through. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath, greedily savoring the feeling of freedom. I'm still alive. How good that is.